Thanks everybody for being here today and sticking through. I know it's 2 o'clock and folks might be a little tired, so we want to excite you with a live demo. I want to make sure though we're at the right conference. Are there any police in the audience? Raise your hand. Good. FBI? Secret Service? All right, we can hack a bank today. This is going to be fun. How about mobile app developers? Raise your hand. Okay, good. We're at the right place. Does anyone here think their smartphone is safe and secure? Be honest, raise your hand. All right, so this guy's using a 1984 Motorola. Cool. All right, anybody else think their phone is secure? Well, I'm Gary Malevsky, CEO of SnoopWall. This is Chris Gauthier, Vice President of Engineering, and we're excited to be here. We're going to show you some technology today that you've never seen. In fact, no one's seen this outside of a non-disclosure agreement. But first, let's get into what's going on in mobile. So you guys build great mobile apps and even great Windows browser experiences, but consumers are not adopting fast enough to the mobile environment. And the reason is, according to a Verizon report, they're not adopting because they're afraid. 61% say they won't move to mobile because of privacy, security, and safety risk. Okay? So let's see what's going on. We found that most mobile devices are infected, and even if you have the best app sandbox, we're going to show you things that use Trusteer and ArcSand and Inauth, all the latest tools, yet there's 1 billion devices that are infected today. Most people don't know, and I'll tell you how we got to the math on that. It's pretty simple. And what they do is they steal transaction data. They eavesdrop on consumers typing in their PIN code. They'll even copy a check deposit. You'd be surprised to find out, because there hasn't been a watershed in the news that mobile malware is that big, right? These are actually trusted mobile apps leaking data to China and Russia and India and Brazil and other countries in real time. We've even decompiled some of that to look at the covert channels in the software we trust every day. Downloading flashlight apps, Bible apps, QR readers, weather apps, even some of the games that are out there are infected. And actually, it's worse than that. They're designed. Raise your hand here if anybody regularly clicks on in-app purchasing on their free apps. So nobody raised their hand. So how do these app developers make money? If they're building you these apps for free and there's 1 billion downloads of them, how do they make money? How do they monetize? They sell identities online in small blocks in the black market, in the dark web. So let's take a look today. We're going to look at flashlight apps and weather apps. And there's only one mobile security and Windows browser toolkit that actually works to stop them, because we've tested it, and it's ours. It's the AppSHIELD SDK. So we've got a little,
Whoops.
It's okay, a sponsor video.
I need a flashlight. What the?
Insert bank card
Okay.
and credit cards
Okay.
and shopping habits
Excuse me? Dagnammit, Gizmo.
and personal photos.
This is highly unorthodox.
You wouldn't give all that to a flashlight, so why would you give it to your flashlight app? The top flashlight apps contain malware that can send your info to hackers.
What the heck? What? Flashlight!
Sir, why don't you just use SnoopWall's privacy flashlight?
Oh, okay.
The SnoopWall Privacy Flashlight.
So we actually looked at the source code of the top 10 flashlight apps, and those apps are 5 to 30 megabytes. We made an open source free one just for you guys to try out and look at. It's in the GitHub. Privacy Flashlight is 100 kilobytes to control the flashlight. It's not geolocating you. It's not eavesdropping. It's not looking at, who is in your contacts list or sending data to other countries. And we've got a really cool gift. If you come to our booth at the end, we'll tell you about more. We've got, if you put in your business card, $445 tomorrow, we got some cool gifts. This is a privacy toolkit to help you or your kids reclaim your privacy on your computer and your phone. We got a bunch of those and more. So Chris is going to do a live demo on my Bank of America account. 8,000 bank apps out there. They're all easily spied on, snooped, or we might call it mobile skimming. He's going to use a weather app, but first he's going to use one of the top flashlight apps. And this is live, and we've sandboxed what it wants to grab, and we're putting it in a website we called Snooped. So keep an eye on this. This is pretty amazing. It may be a little upside down. We have a real live webcam. And Chris, you've got a desk, let me just pull this up a little. You've got a normal Android, you got a flashlight app, you got other apps. This is not rootkitted or jailbroken. This can be done on an Android, a Windows phone, or an iPhone. And he's logging in, let me pull this up closer. He's logging in to Bank of America, and he's typing in my credentials to my account. I hope it's not zoomed in. I don't mind if you write it down. There's only $25 in the account, so that's okay. But please don't log into my account. Change the password later. Did they hear me? Okay. Now, once he logs in, he's also going to deposit a check. I have a check for my other bank account, USAA. Anybody here from USAA? Thank you very much. So this is a check from USA we're going to deposit, as you can see. And we kind of darkened out some info on there, but it has my name and my address. It has my routing info, etc. And he's taken the picture of the check. I apologize for the angle here. And that's B of A's live deposit app. Okay? This is all live. And Chris, you can do the back of the check if you want. Let me pull up a little.
Yeah, give it a try.
Okay. So he's depositing the check over the internet using Bank of America. And again, this is not a rootkitted or jailbroken phone. Let's once you've done the deposit, let's go to snooped.snoopwall.com and see what was being intercepted by the flashlight. So my username, my password, and there's all the pictures of the check he just took right now. He just did that. That's live. That was heading to China, by the way, including my signature on the back. So you've got all my PII right out of Bank of America. So you guys make great apps. What can we do to help you secure it? Let's also take a look at Bank of America using Trusteer on Windows. And there's a weather app that happens to be running. You can have the latest antivirus, the latest firewall, but you're not safe. Now you know that he's typing the same credentials. Hopefully no one's changed my password in those seconds. Could be embarrassing to us. And he's logging in, and let's see if it got those credentials. Oh, he cleaned up the browser too to show you, and it got that information. And can you show them the Trusteer icon in B of A?
Sure.
I'll go to the B of A browser, B of A tab, and you can see that in B of A, Trusteer says, you're safe, you're secure, nobody's spying, snooping, stealing, or skimming. This is a problem. So let's move over back to the slideshow, and you've seen two pieces of malware, a weather app and a flashlight app. So we've designed the AppSHIELD SDK to solve this problem. The AppSHIELD SDK is in over 100 banks already. We don't name their names, we're under NDA with them. It's been in the field for live, it's in version 2 for 16 months. What's really important is you don't want to alter the consumer experience, right? You want your consumers to not even know that AppSHIELD is inside. I kind of like to call it a counterveillance engine for your mobile ATM experience. You can't be skimmed if your app becomes invisible to malware. Does that make sense? If your app is invisible to malware, it doesn't matter what kind of malware is on the device. So no spying, snooping, or stealing. There's no cloud backend. We don't want your data or your consumer data. It's about 200K piece of code library that took us years to develop. We have patents and patents pending. It will not impact performance. And even though there's thousands of lines of code, Chris is going to show us very few lines of code that you have to call to get in. Let's go to the next slide. So some of the key features of AppSHIELD are giving you a secure ATM-like experience, making your app invisible to the bad guys with a lot of cool patent pending or patented technology. Let's secure that keyboard from the prying apps like the flashlight app. Let's secure the camera. Even if you have MyTech or Kofax or your own engine, call us and say, we need the camera, lock it down good on Android, Windows, or iPhone. Lock it down, and now I want, MyTech or Kofax or other to find me that check. Now they're getting the check in a secure area. We've even secured storage because we've noticed some of these apps, one of them is the Bible app, it spies on you by going through your phone's storage looking for file I/O, looking for files. We have secure browser technology, really cool stuff, crypto SMS, and an identity management module. So much more. I don't want to take up all of Chris's time. So just so you know, this is the first time Chris is even showing me this. He's going to actually, this has only been seen by banks under NDA. So you're seeing Secure Bank, an app that comes with our toolkit in a few seconds, and he's going to make a few function calls to harden that bank against the kind of breaches you just saw. Okay, and I'm going to ask the questions because I've got a lot of questions on how it works too, because I used to be a developer myself. Okay, Chris, tell us what you're going to do.
Okay, thanks, Gary. So first of all, what I'm going to show you is called Secure Bank. This is the sample app that we give you with the toolkit. It exercises all the features of the AppSHIELD SDK. It resembles a banking app, but it can't be exploited by the malware you just saw. So I'm going to start us off. Here we are in Android Studio. And I'm starting you off in the splash activity. This is the entry point to the Secure Bank application. And right here, okay, so here's where we start app protection. Now, as you just saw, it's fairly easy for a malicious application to grab information from your application. So the first line of defense we have, we call it app protection. And what we're doing is we are suspending applications and services that are running in the background. And the reason we do that is if they're not running, there's not much they can do. And if that were the end of it, I could stop right here. However, applications and services can relaunch themselves once they've been suspended. So we have additional layers of protection for those situations. So let's go to camera protection. As we just showed you, it's trivial for us to grab, or for a malicious app to grab images such as checks, credit cards, loan documents, whatever, as long as the camera is looking at them. So we have a camera protection module. When you tell us to protect the camera, we lock the camera against any application using it. We keep it locked until you say, I want to use the camera. We hand it over to you. If you're using a third-party SDK, something that does check, image, or credit card recognition, you can safely and securely hand the camera over to that package and then release it back to us when you're finished. I'd like to draw particular attention to the cam error callback here. Let's say that you start camera protection and another application is already locking the camera. Well, we will tell you that somebody is locking the camera, and you can tell the user, hey, close that application. We got to do some banking here.
So Chris, if ultra bright flashlight just kept grabbing the camera while B of A's trying to take a picture of the check, you would pass an error code and say, this app is owning the camera. I really can't give you a safe picture of the check.
That's right, Gary. That's exactly what we do.
I get it. Cool.
Okay, so next level of protection, device state. When your app starts up, it would be good to know what kind of environment you're running in. What are the potential hazards and red flags? Is the device rooted, for example? Is the Android debug bridge running? Do you have a third-party keyboard installed? These are all situations that could be hazardous to your application. So you call, get device state, and we hand you a bunch of information about what the state of the device is. And you can see we have flags to indicate whether the device is rooted. Is the developer settings enabled? Is the Android debug bridge running? And so on. So once we've established that we're running in a safe environment, we have another level of protection here. We know that wireless ports can leak data. Bluetooth attacks are on the rise, and I'm sure we're all familiar with the classic man-in-the-middle attack that happens when you have a compromised public Wi-Fi and information can be gained from the connection. So what we do is we provide you with the ability to block ports. You tell us to block a port, we turn it off, and we keep it off.
So if you're traveling and you want to do online banking and you're sitting at Starbucks, we found one next door, right? I don't want to use Starbucks Wi-Fi, I want to use 3G, 4G, and SSL. You're going to help the bank set that up for the consumer on their phone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so we've gone through our startup routine. We've established a secure environment. Now we also want to maintain that secure environment. So here is another level of protection. We have register for state callbacks. Now, we've already talked about establishing the device state, but the device state can change. Now, it's unlikely that somebody is going to root their phone in the middle of a banking transaction, but there are other things they could do, or that a malicious app could do. They might install a third-party keyboard. You might get an app trying to turn on one of the ports that we blocked. We'll keep it off, but we should tell you that it's been re-enabled, or that the attempt has been made. So we provide you with that registration. You register for a callback. We'll tell you at any point if the device changes. So let's move on to, okay, so we're going to log in. Now, as we just showed you, it's trivially easy for a malicious app to grab a username, password, or You can grab a social security number, a credit card number, any account number, really anything that's put in using the keyboard can be grabbed and taken wherever.
So Chris, if my bank has a tablet in the building and they say, do your mortgage app in the bank, I'm going to put in my social security, my date of birth, and everything. Is the AppSHIELD SDK going to protect me?
It absolutely will.
So it's not just those login fields.
Absolutely. We do provide you with secure keyboard. Now this is an embedded keyboard. It's embedded into the toolkit, excuse me, and therefore embedded into your application if you use our toolkit. One function call here protects a data field. So here I'm protecting the username. I can protect the password, one function call, social security number, credit card number, anything. Now how about this scenario? You have a user who logs into their bank account on an iPhone in New York, typically. Suddenly one day they're logging in from an Android phone in Los Angeles. Is this really the same user? How do you know? Well, the best place to start is with an identity manager. So we provide a set of identity markers. We give you the location, we give you the wireless network configuration, we give you telephony network information, and we give you information about the operating system itself. If enough of these markers don't match, you have a reason to ask the user, hey, is this really you? And you can do that however you want.
So the problem I have with that is I have to type in 8 characters. I can barely remember it. So is there any better way to keep the user experience going without the user having to re-auth themselves?
Well, it's funny you should say that. We have a new technology called crypto SMS, and we can tell you about that at our booth.
Okay.
But
Crypto SMS sounds exciting.
Okay.
What kind of encryption are you using?
I'm
trying to stump him.
I'm using AES 256-bit encryption.
Pretty cool. Good thing we're not doing tweets, right? Not enough characters.
Okay. So once we have logged in, verified our identity, you're probably going to want to store some information on the device. Now, this can be kind of dangerous because that information can be compromised. It could be used as an attack vector. So we provide a secure storage module. This is an AES 256-bit encrypted file box. You can put information into it in any format. And once you put information in there, you can only get it out with a passphrase. If the file is taken off the device, you can't even get information out of it with the passphrase.
But the bank could. If they write a little back-end code, they could help the customer.
No.
No?
No.
Uh-oh.
It's that secure.
It's that secure. Well, time for a new phone. Okay.
All right. So you've done your banking transaction, and now it's time to log out of the application. So you probably want to know what happened while we were in that transaction. What did SnoopWall do for us? We provide you with a session report. If any of the applications that we were blocking attempt to relaunch themselves, we'll tell you. If any of the ports that we blocked, if any application attempted to open those ports we blocked, we'll tell you. You can transmit this information to your backend for analysis. You can warn the user that, hey, you have a suspicious application on your phone. It's up to you. We provide you with the capability to do a lot of different things. You can use them however you want to use them.
So if that Flappy Birds was spying on me, I'd get a message?
Exactly.
If the bank wanted to give me the message.
You can do whatever you want to with the information.
Very cool. When can I get this toolkit?
Oh, pretty soon.
Okay, let's see what else you got.
Okay, well, actually, that's it for Secure Bank. So
Great.
let's go back to
our slides. So we got a couple slides left. Really appreciate your time today. Next slide will tell you a little bit more about the eyesore. This is the competitive analysis matrix slide. Some of the big points are most comprehensive user identification. We have a cloaking technology that's patented. You can come to our booth and zoom in on this if you want. No known way to exploit today, and even if it does have a way in the future, it's going to be hard because you can't exploit what you can't see. And secure storage is pretty cool. Defeating Bluetooth, NFC, Wi-Fi hacking, etc. The list is long. Ultimately, the AppSHIELD SDK runs $5,000 to $50,000 per year, depending on the size of the bank. If you want to write code like this yourself, you're not going to have access to our patents. You're not going to have code like this without spending a lot of money and spending a few years. So we'd rather license it to you at a very low cost, 10 to 100% lower than our competitors. Let's go to the next slide. And on that note, you guys have built great apps. I'm glad we came to the right conference and there's no Secret Service or FBI or police here. But thank you all. What I want to do is offer you, come to our booth, put your business card in our little bowl there, And there's 3 of these privacy packs. They're worth a couple $100. You can give it to your kids. It's going to secure the phone. It's going to secure the camera on your laptop. It's even going to secure the data port for uploading and downloading data on your iPhones even. And finally, tomorrow at 4:45, we're going to give away one AppSHIELD development kit worth up to $150,000 to one bank app developer. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time.